All right. Well, thanks everybody for hopping on. Welcome, welcome. I am Heidi Juke, certified health coach, and I have on the line with me Jared Smithson, and we're going to be working together to kind of go over some healthy tips and things to help you maintain your weight for lifelong health. So you don't go back to that yo-yo cycle. You're able to continue to keep the weight off. So this is me. I lost 40 pounds in about 4 months. I had my third baby. He'll be 2 in March. And I was super excited because I thought, oh my gosh, it's so fun having all boys. But, I actually gained about 50 pounds with him. And I was kind of upset, to be honest. I was like, what the heck? I'm a coach and I'm not really emulating, practicing what I preach type of deal. So luckily I had coached many moms with the Nursing Mothers program, and I was able to lose the 40 pounds plus the last about 10, 15 pounds to my goal weight that I'm at now. So I've been able to maintain that. My baby's almost 2. So I really love that. I feel so much better. I have a lot of energy to keep up with him because if you guys have seen him, he's like running everywhere instead of just walking casually. So life is a little nutty at my house, but I am really, really grateful for this program and that I could be able to have a program and nurse my little guy and still lose the weight. So Jared is going to tell his story and how he's been able to keep his weight off the last 8 years.
Yeah, I can't say that my kids were really, really small when I got pregnant 3 times, right? I just didn't have any babies. My wife had the babies for us, but I actually gained the same amount of weight as my wife did with our first son, and I blame her for it. It was totally her fault. I had nothing to do with it other than I was the one that was consuming the taco truck food. We lived in California, and I remember one night, like everything made her sick while she was pregnant. And I was eating Cheerios of all things one night, and she's like, I'm going to throw up. I can smell the Cheerio dust. And so from then on, I pretty much just ate out, and I wasn't making the best decisions. And the thing about my weight gain in my life was I just kind of lost touch with the things that were keeping me healthy before. And I honestly didn't have the greatest habits. It was really just a matter of time before I started to gain weight, because my whole life I had really maintained what people saw on the outside as health. A lot of people equate skinny with healthy, and skinny doesn't always mean healthy. I had a lot of unhealthy habits. I didn't sleep, even back in my childhood and adolescent years and stuff. I played 8 hours of basketball a day, so that kept me thin, but I was eating all kinds of junk. And so as I got older and I got out into the work world and I was a lot more sedentary, life just caught up to me. And it was actually the day that I made the decision that I was going to get healthy, I had lost 25 pounds. It says here on the screen that I lost 50 pounds. I lost 25 before I knew anything about Take Shape for Life. And it took me over a year, about 15 months. And then I followed that 15 months of really slow weight loss, little over a pound a month. And then I followed it up with a 9-month plateau. And I was doing a lot of circuit training at the time, 2 hours a day, 6 days a week. And I was working out really, really hard. I remember this one night I was working out with my business partner, and I was moving from one station to the next, and I had this thought go through my head that was kind of the end of my world, because I'd been an athlete my whole life, And so athletes, they do what? They exercise, right? And when I was going from this one station to the next, this thought passed through my mind, and it said, it was my own voice, and it said, Jared, you hate exercise. And I was like, holy crap. And I actually, I was probably an hour, maybe even a little less than an hour into my 2-hour workout, and I left the gym. And I didn't go back for a few days. And I knew that I needed to do something different. And my mother-in-law was a Take Shape for Life health coach, and she had been talking to me a little bit, but this was the moment where I called her up and I said, okay, I'm willing to do find out what you're doing. And so I started the Take Shape for Life program a couple weeks later, and I lost my last 25 pounds in 1 month. And it was like that 1 month was life-changing because it totally reset my habits. It taught me the principles of lifelong health. And so I've been living the program, not the plan that I lost that last 25 pounds on, but the program and the plan function by the same principles. And we'll talk about those principles moving forward, but I've been living the program for 8 years and have kept that 50 pounds off. And I'm actually at almost 43 years old. I'm in better shape now than I was when I was playing college basketball 24 years ago now. So I love it. I love the program. It makes me feel confident. It makes me feel like the person that I was meant to be on this world, so that I can focus on things that are even more important, like my family and people around me, that I have great relationships now because of being healthy.
I love that. Thank you, Jared. So let's kind of get into the nitty-gritty of it. So what are your current health goals, right? What are you really wanting for your health? And, becoming a healthier person, a lot of people have different goals, right? So for some of us, it might be eating better, eating more clean, moving, getting activity in, having a lot less stress, finding more time for sleep. And so thinking about how you can really focus on becoming that healthier person, but more than just the goal that you have in mind. So something that as you get to your goal weight, you want to remember is that that's not the end. You want to continue to focus on those healthy habits that we teach, and really focusing on your why and why you started this journey, and that there needs to be more than just an end in sight, that there's more to it than that. Jared, was there more that you wanted to talk about with that one?
The only thing that I would add to it is, and this was really a mindset that my wife transferred to me, because she lost 35 pounds 4 years before I lost my weight. And so she'd been trying to get me, right, to make changes in my life because she was so much happier. She felt so much better, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, everything. And she didn't share this with me until a few years later, but she said, and it was really powerful to me. She said, when I made the decision to get healthy, we were foodies. Our whole lives were like, what are we going to eat next that is just fantastic, right? And she said, when I made the decision to get healthy, I had to let go of that old me and allow that part of me to die. And I was like, wow, that's kind of morbid. And I realized how true it was. If I never wanted to go back, Albert Einstein is credited with the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Well, I had been doing that. I would change for a little bit, and then I'd go back to my old habits. And what results did I get? I got the same old habits the same results that the old habits gave me the first time. So I made a decision 8 years ago that I was going to let part of me, that old part of me, die. And so I kind of use this with my clients now. You know, you see the movies where they have the guy or the lady has the angel on the one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder, right? Well, I heard a speaker one time say that the devil is within habitual response. Like, who cares about if there's actually a devil out there, right? Our habitual response is enough devil for our lives. And if we don't change the way that we habitually respond to life, we'll keep doing the same things over and over, and we'll keep getting the same results. So that angel on our shoulder, think of it, it's you. It's not some mythical creature. There's a healthy part of you. And so just simply ask yourself this question when you have challenges, or when you have multiple decisions in front of you. One's healthy perhaps, and the other's, or a lot of unhealthy options. Ask yourself, what would the healthy me do? Because I think all of us, there's a part of us inside that really wants to be healthy. And if you just ask yourself, you will start to empower yourself to continually, you're like, hey, I made the decision last time. It wasn't somebody else or something else motivating me. It was actually me. It was an intrinsic part of me that was motivating me. So that's the most important thing, is that you know that you have it within inside of you to make the correct decisions that will best serve you in your long-term health.
Yeah, that's so good. Thank you. All right, so thinking about what your current habits are right now. So are you eating within an hour of waking up? Are you eating carb protein balance meals every 2 to 3 hours? In Jared's case, every 2 hours. And then are you drinking 100 ounces of water? You know, it's suggested that someone that is 200 pounds, you divide that in half, and that in ounces. So 100 ounces is how much that person should be consuming. For women, just to keep your organs stable and doing okay, it's suggested 80 ounces, and for men, 90 ounces. So really making sure you're upping that water intake, and really making sure you're working on these habits, getting enough sleep. I have been sick since the 25th of December, off and on sick. And part of the reason is because I haven't been getting enough sleep, and I know that. I've been going to bed way too late, and then my kids, bless their heart, they wake me up at 5 a.m, and that's not cool. But that's part of it, is everything goes hand in hand. And if you're not taking care of yourself and really focusing on the habits that we teach and keeping that activity in, it really does play a toll on your body as well as your health and how you're feeling in your day-to-day. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Jared?
I like to give people just a little visual of about water, the importance of water. A lot of people, when they were kids, they had this like single fish in the single fish bowl. And so there's no system to recycle water or clean the water or anything. So you have to get the fish in a little cup once a week and go fill up the bowl with new water, right? If you don't change the water, it gets all murky and it's like algae growing on it or something like that. It's all gross. Well, that's what happens inside of our bodies if we're not flushing it out. We have a nurse practitioner health coach on our team, and she was explaining this process to me, and I was like, wow, that's really visually gross. And I'm never not going to drink water again, because our bodies, if we're not taking in new water, it retains water so that you're not overly dehydrated. But dehydration is one of the biggest causes of overactive cravings. So a lot of times the body can't tell the difference between dehydration and hunger. So if you just ate and you're having cravings, most likely dehydration can be a big factor there. So go take a big drink of water, wait 15, 20 minutes. And then if you're still hungry, perhaps you've been undernourished for the day or whatever, or you've been overly active and you need to get some more nutrition in you.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fishbowl analogy. All right. So, Jared, would you go over this study that Dr. Jenkins did?
Yeah, this was a life changer for me. David Jenkins at the University of Toronto is really one of the pioneers in low glycemic eating, and he took a huge group of people. They actually housed them in dorms. They were very controlled environment, and these people they had equal amounts of people in both groups that were at a healthy weight versus people who needed to lose weight. They evenly spaced them, randomly spaced them, and evenly also people who had high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, all kinds of different diseases that are related to weight. And they fed them exactly the same foods, exactly the same calories. But one group, they gave them 3 traditional meals, and the other group, they gave 6 smaller meals. And the group that ate the 6 smaller meals, they lost 2.5 times more weight than the other group. They all of them across the board said that they were less hungry. And then you'll see the cholesterol and blood insulin, a 15% reduction and 28% reduction in blood insulin. This is huge because blood sugars and insulin response is how our body dictates how much energy to use and how much energy, calories to store. And unfortunately, we don't get to dictate and say, hey, you know what? I want to store that for later as protein so that after I work out, it'll just go to that little protein storage and restore my muscles, right? That's not how it works. If it gets stored for later, it gets stored as fat and it builds up those fat cells. So keeping that blood sugar and the blood insulin at a really good baseline level is going to keep your metabolism high and going to keep you in a fat burning state rather than a fat storage state.
Yeah. So thinking about after weight loss, right? So you think about a 9-inch plate. If you don't have one, you don't have to buy one. You're just going to use your plate you already have and just use the inside. You're going to cut it into thirds. So you'll have, like it shows in the picture, you'll have your protein, 25%, your starches, which does include your more starchy veggies. So your potatoes, your edamame, your Brussels sprouts, your corn, your peas, your carrots. That one's, you want to put those veggies in that area as well as like your grains and things like that, pastas. And then your 50% is your veggies and fruit. And remember that, you don't want to go super bananas with the fruit either. You want to keep that to a minimum because fruit does turn into fructose, which turns into sugar, which turns into fat. And we don't want that, right? So keep that in mind. You want to keep it at a minimum. Don't go banana nutso with it. And this will help you in the long run to be able to maintain your weight. I do that now, and I love it. It really has helped me be more mindful about how much I'm consuming. Because if you go to a restaurant, you get a plate and it's like twice the size of a 9-inch plate, right? And so some suggestions of what you could do is ask for a doggy bag and have half in the doggy bag and then keep the rest out and eat the fat. Because if you're like me, my mom and dad used to say, you sit at the table until you clear your plate or you're going to have it for breakfast. And I didn't want to have that yuckiness for breakfast, right? Brussels sprouts. So, it's that concept of, oh my gosh, I have to clean my plate. at the restaurant. And so, you're getting 2 meals for the price of one. And, kind of take that mentality that maybe you learned like I did, that you have to clean your plate. Just being mindful of your portion sizes. And if you don't finish it, just save it for later. It's no big deal. And that's been a huge way that's helped me as well. Jared, did you want to add anything else?
Yeah, just one of my personal secrets to this is if I'm going to have a starch, I do not have a dessert. I consider starch a dessert. And so most of the time, probably 4 or 5 days a week, even in the maintenance phase of health, maintaining my healthy weight, my family, we just eat lean and green for dinner. We had lean and green tonight. No starch. If I'm very intentional about desserts. I haven't had a store-bought cookie in 8 years because I don't know of any store-bought cookies that are worth the calories. Now, my wife makes fantastic pies and cookies and stuff. That's one of the reasons I gained 50 pounds after we got married. Remember, it's all her fault. I had no responsibility in it. No, I took full responsibility. But so if I'm going to have a dessert, and starches, breads, pastas, corn, like if we have corn on the cob, I love corn on the cob during the summer especially. But that's my dessert. I think of it as a dessert. We'll make a really nice French bread or something like that, or rolls. My wife is great at, and it's my dessert. But if I'm going to have a dessert, straight lean and green. And then we'll wait an hour or so before we eat our dessert. And even right before I eat my dessert, I'll have some more protein to make sure that my blood sugars are more balanced when I'm consuming higher carbohydrates. So, and then secret, probably all of you guys know this, but if you're saving salad, throw it in a gallon Ziploc bag and throw a paper towel in there. It'll keep your salad good for days.
What?
So yeah, it's magical. So then you don't have to just throw the rest of your salad away because it's going to just, Chris is like mind blown. I was too. I was like, there's no way this will ever work. There's no way this will ever work. And then I did it, and the next day it was just like the night before when we made the salad.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My life has changed forever, Jared. I love it. Awesome tips. Those are great. All right. So what's after weight loss? So, something that Jared always says that I love is thinking about when you were in elementary school, trying to match the items, So think about this with your protein carb balanced meals, right? There's really no wrong that you can go with any of these. Some of my favorite, I love Greek yogurt. Dannon Light and Fit, 80 calories, is so good. It's actually in bulk at Costco. I buy it in bulk. It's like a staple I have at my house. Love it. And I pair it with some fruit. So good. If I'm at home and have the time to have that. Another one of my favorites is cottage cheese. With some veggies. That is like one of my very favorites as well. So, and then obviously the portion controlled meal replacements. Those are amazing, especially if you are busy, because after I lost my weight with my baby, I was no less busy now than I was then. And so I love having the portion controlled meal replacements handy nearby. So when I'm running to my son's football game or whatever, I can grab one, and I know I'm getting the perfect amount of carbs and protein in each of them, which I really, really love. Jared, what are some of your favorites?
Mind blown. You guys want some serious stuff right there. Sriracha almonds. Best almonds ever. My friend just shared them with me like a month ago, and I'm like, is a can a day a portion size? No. No, it's hard to stick within my portions, but I'm maintaining my weight, so I can have more almonds than I could when I was like on the 5-in-1 plan. But I just want to really encourage the continual use of the Optavia and Take Shape for Life fuelings, because it's about fueling our bodies. And 8 years I've been coaching people, and 8 years, over 1,000 personal clients, that most of them have searched for fuelings that are equal to ours, and they do not exist. You cannot find anything on this planet, out of the ground, off a tree, anything that has the balance of nutrition. That's not to say that you shouldn't be eating what's out of the ground and off trees and plants and things like that, and other great protein sources. But if you want to keep your life really simple and you want to maintain your healthy weight, please consider continuing to use them. I basically do a 4 and 4 plan because as Heidi was saying earlier, I can't go more than 2 hours. A little bit of maintenance is just finding out what works best for you, and fueling my body every 2 hours with my activity level and my schedule and stuff is what is best for me. So I have 4 traditional meals and 4 fuelings per day, chosen from the different Medifast, Take Shape for Life, Optavia, and we're going to be having some great new products coming out at the end of February, reformulated Medifast products with probiotics, all natural sweeteners. Now everything's going to stevia, so awesome evolution.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited for those. That'll be really, really awesome to find. All right. So, Jared, I would love to have you talk about this sugar. You're so good at explaining it. I love it.
Well, this is really simple. This comes from chapter 9 of Dr. A's book, or you can go to Dr. Wayne Anderson or habitsofhealth.net. Go to resources, and you can download these charts directly from the website. Dr. A always says, stay in the green, stay lean. It's that simple. You want to limit the number of fruits and vegetables, and there's also charts for cereals, grains, things like that. Just stay in the lower glycemic, and you're going to have a much easier time keeping those blood sugars balanced and keeping that weight off long term. I do like to point out one thing so that people understand how foods work. Carrots are in the very low glycemic. You'll see there in the green bottom line, they're at 30 on the glycemic index when they're raw. If you look at the bottom, when they're cooked, they're an 80. So table sugar, you buy bags of sugar at the store, table sugar is a 68 on the glycemic index. So a cooked carrot, the glucose will get sucked into your bloodstream faster with cooked carrots than it will with table sugar. So 100 is straight glucose. So it's just important to understand that when you overcook vegetables, or also when you blend too much, everybody likes a good smoothie, right? But you want to get a good balance of raw vegetables, lightly steamed or baked, and then just limit the amount of times that you're cooking, like sticking the carrots in with the roast, right? Everybody loves those when they get nice and soft and they just like almost melt in your mouth. Limit that and treat that kind of as a dessert.
Yeah, that's great advice. I love that. And those are really good carrots, by the way. I was thinking about my mom's roast. It was really good. So make sure you check this out. This is really, really good. And they don't just have it for fruits and vegetables. They have it for all the things that we're consuming. So you can be kind of keeping in mind, okay, where am I at? Do I need to be mindful about this? Because you can see bananas are pretty high there too. So let's just talk for a second about long-term success. So, just because you get to your goal does not mean you're rid of any of us as far as health coaches. You know, if I'm your health coach, I still want to hear how you're doing and make sure you're doing okay. And the biggest thing is, if you're struggling or having a tough time, please reach out, because we don't know if you're not doing okay if you don't let us know. So that's a huge part of check with maintenance, is checking in at least once a week, once a month, and making sure you're doing okay. And then also, if you treat this as a diet, you're going to gain the weight back. And you know, you think about the yo-yo cycle that, you know, people, oh, I'm going to try this quote unquote diet, and then they gain the weight back. And you know, really thinking about making it a lifestyle change, that it's not just a short-term fix. There's a reason why we're fueling our bodies every 2 to 3 hours. There's a reason why we're making sure we're getting plenty of water. And so, you know, really thinking about why you're doing this and making it a lifestyle, and not looking back of, oh, I can't wait until I get to this goal so then I can go back to my old ways. No, this is a lifestyle that we want you to continue. And that's why we have and utilize Dr. A's Healthy Habits, is, you know, you have it there, and it has awesome information to help you really utilize and learn the healthy habits that we teach. And it's almost like I actually started reading that book, and I thought, oh my gosh, there's a lot of things that just kind of made me realize, wow, I love the way he said that, or just things that kind of open my eyes. So keep it handy. You never know when you need it. It has awesome ideas for beginner exercises too. And then obviously the last thing is considering stepping your health up to the next level and paying it forward. So one of the most amazing decisions I made 4 years ago was to become a health coach. Many of you may not know, but we were living paycheck to paycheck. I had just had my twin boys, who are 6 now, and we were living literally paycheck to paycheck. We were on WIC. We had family members buying our groceries. I was so stressed out about money, and I didn't know how I was going to pay for things. And we were living in this tiny, tiny little apartment in the ghetto of Salt Lake. And, you know, when I found out about health coaching and what it could do for us financially, it's changed our life, and we've been able to really, you know, have a wonderful home and provide for our children, which I'm so grateful for. But so much more than that, it's been, I feel like this is my calling. I feel like it's, nothing brings me more joy than to hear like, oh my gosh, I am fitting into my old jeans, because I know how that feels. I know how rewarding that feels, and how awesome it feels. You don't have to do the wiggle dance anymore, right, to get your pants on. So, you know, if it's something you've ever thought about, you know, reach out to whoever invited you on this call and talk about it, because it's absolutely changed my life. And I know Jared can say too that it's changed his life as well. But Jared, did you want to add anything else?
You know, you're so right that it has changed our life. We were in a horrible, horrible place financially. And it wasn't even all our fault. We had our identities stolen and a lot of bad stuff. But, you know, coaching is so much more than just a financial opportunity. It's, you know, my degree is in sociology. I'm a social scientist by education. And there's these theories of social consciousness, and we live really in 3 tiers of social consciousness, where we're very called ego driven, where we're looking out for our own needs, and then there's a transformation period where people typically comes when people are middle age, and they've had their own children, things like that, and I guess some people go through a midlife crisis or something like that, and they're like, what was I, like you mentioned, your calling. What was I really put on this earth to do? And then the top levels of consciousness are referred to as soul needs, or a soul level of consciousness. Like, how do I contribute to the world? And some of the coaches that have joined us, they didn't even need the money. The money was a bonus, but they wanted to feel like they were connected to people. And that's what my biggest invitation to people is, to come and be part of a community, be part of like-minded people who care about each other, who are committed to personally growing. We as coaches spend so much of our time and energy with personal development, just getting better at being people and being kinder to people, and improving our skill sets and our mindsets to be able to contribute more to the world. And because I'm a believer that we don't succeed at anything in life by ourselves. Even people that you may see center stage, a master pianist or a violinist or an artist that might be out on center stage by themselves, they didn't get there by themselves. They had teachers and mentors and parents and tens of thousands of hours and tens of thousands of dollars spent on them to get better and improve their talents and abilities. And that's how I feel that human beings should live. We should live together. And unfortunately, we live in a society that's really heavy on technology and stuff, and it's pulling us farther and farther apart. And I believe that getting back together and being more communal will help people lead more happy, more fulfilling lives, and that it will also massively accelerate people's success in their personal lives. So even if you're doing it totally as a selfish thing, join us, become part of a bigger community so that it will bless you.
I love that. That's so true. Well, thanks everyone for hopping on. And Jared, thank you so much for helping me out tonight. And have a great night. And thanks so much, you guys.
You're awesome, Heidi. Everybody go out and get some sriracha almonds.
Yes, that is so yummy.
Okay, have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, guys.